Mathematical proof-style case for Jesus, as God Part 2, 1. The Law of Identity. The law of identity is one of the most basic principles in logic, A. This means that each thing is identical to itself and cannot simultaneously be something else. Applied here, if God is defined as infinite, omniscient, omnipotent, and morally unique, then only a being with those qualities can be God. If Jesus displays those qualities, he cannot not be God. Conversely, if Jesus lacks those qualities, he cannot be God. Thus, the question of Jesus' divinity becomes a binary identity test. Either Jesus belongs in set G, God, or he does not. There is no middle option because in logic, to be in G as possessing all God attributes. To be outside G as not God. 2. The law of non-contradiction. The law of non-contradiction states a not A. In simpler terms, something cannot be both true and false in the same sense at the same time. So Jesus cannot be both merely human and infinite God, both only a prophet and the source of all prophecy, both created and the creator. This means that skeptics cannot hold contradictory positions about him. They cannot say, he was a great teacher, while ignoring that he claimed divine prerogatives, which, if false, would make him a liar, not great. This narrows the options. Either Jesus was deluded, deceptive, or misrepresented, and thus not great at all, or his claims were true and he is what he said he was, God. 3. The trilemma as a logical structure, CS. Lewis popularized the trilemma: liar, lunatic, or Lord. But we can express this mathematically as a logical function. Let Jx mark the truth value of Jesus' claims. If Jx are false and he knew it, liar. If Jx are false and he didn't know it, lunatic. If Jx are true, Lord, God. We can then test historical consistency. His moral teaching does not align with being a liar. His mental coherence does not align with being a lunatic. Therefore, the logical remainder is that his claims were true. This is essentially a logical elimination proof. If A, B, C, and A, B, then C. 4. Jesus' claims of identity. Historically, Jesus made claims that were identity markers belonging only to God in Jewish thought. These are well documented even outside purely theological debate. Examples: forgiving sins, prerogative of God alone, claiming I am, ego eimi, the divine name in Jewish tradition, receiving worship. Jews were fiercely monotheistic. To allow worship was to claim deity, claiming to be judge of humanity, a role reserved for God. Each of these is not a random miracle or legend, but an identity statement. Thus we can construct definition: only God can forgive sins. Theorem: Jesus forgave sins. Corollary: Jesus, the God. This is repeated across multiple divine prerogatives. 5. Logical exclusivity. In mathematics, two sets can be mutually exclusive. For instance, set A, prime numbers. Set B, even numbers greater than 2. No number can be in both sets. Similarly, set H, all merely human teachers. Set G, all infinite divine beings. Jesus cannot simultaneously be in set H and set G. So the test is, did Jesus claim prerogatives that only set G allows? If yes, then he is not merely in set H. If Jesus is in set G, he cannot be just a man. This exclusivity forces skeptics to reconsider simplistic categories like good moral teacher. 6. Syllogistic proofs. Here are a few formal syllogisms, logical proofs. Syllogism 1. Forgiveness. Only God can forgive sins. Jesus forgave sins. Jesus is God. Syllogism 2. Worship is due only to God. Jesus received and accepted worship. Jesus is God. Syllogism 3. Eternity. God alone is eternal. Jesus claimed pre-existence before Abraham. Jesus is God. Syllogism 4. judge of all. Only God judges humanity. Jesus claimed authority to judge humanity. Jesus is God. Each syllogism follows the modus ponens form of logic. If P, Q, P is true, Q. 7. Anticipating skeptic counterarguments. Maybe he didn't say those things. Counter. Multiple independent historical sources record them. Even if one discounts divine authority, the weight of attestation in hostile contexts, Jewish leaders, Romans, shows that he was understood as claiming deity. Maybe his followers exaggerated. Counter. Early testimony is too soon after his life for myth development. The radical change in Jewish monotheists accepting Jesus as divine is logically improbable unless grounded in fact. He was misinterpreted. Counter. His opponents wanted to kill him specifically for blasphemy. This shows that his claims were clearly understood in their cultural context. 8. Why this matters. At this point, we see that logic forces us into a binary choice. Either Jesus belongs in G or he does not. Non-contradiction excludes the possibility of him being merely human while claiming divinity. The trilemma eliminates great moral teacher as a standalone option. Thus, the logical conclusion is that the hypothesis, Jesus is God, is the only coherent identity placement given the claims and evidence.